There is no better activity for NBA fans than tracking player development. You can't do it. I understand that it appears to be a subjective task and you may have a dozen alternative responses running through your mind, but this is the correct one. When athletes take a step ahead, the possibilities for themselves and their team shift. That's how role players progress to starters, starters to stars, and stars to all-stars. Let's capitalize on that excitement by highlighting each squad's player who has made the most progress this season. So, here are the most improved NBA players in the 2021 to 2022 season so far. Here we go. Starting off, we have Jordan Poole of the Golden State Warriors. If you had to fill out a most improved player ballot right now, Jordan Poole would have to be on it. He was demoted to the G League for a whole month last season. He spent the first month and a half of his season as the second or third option on a full-fledged NBA powerhouse. Poole is demonstrating his ability to coexist with Stephen Curry while also keeping the offensive running while its MVP is absent. Poole may not be able to power up the same level as his backcourt mate, but to be fair, very few scorers in the history of the game have. But he still brings an intriguing combination of a scoring three-ball, slippery handles, and a feather-soft touch around the basket. Poole's status in this season-long MIP competition will be determined by two factors: sustainability and the role he will play once Klay Thompson returns. Up next, we have Malik Monk of the Los Angeles Lakers. Since Talen Horton-Tucker hasn't gotten off the ground and Kendrick Nunn hasn't made it onto the court yet, the pickings are slim. Is Carmelo Anthony deserving of a mention for combining the most three-pointers per game with the second highest splash rate? Maybe, but he's checking the same boxes that he did last season. After failing to obtain a full-time rotation place last season, Avery Bradley now has one. But you have to question, or at least I do, if that says more about the Lakers than it does about him. So let's shift the spotlight to Malik Monk, who has joined the most pressure-packed atmosphere of his career and answered with the best field goal percentage. His true shooting percentage, win shares per 48 minutes, and box plus-minus are all career highs. He still hasn't figured out the answer to consistency, and he can give up a lot of what he gets offensively on the defensive end, but he plays an exciting style of basketball and is a good enough three-point shooter to help with spacing difficulties and has never contributed more to winning. Up next, we have Ja Morant with the Memphis Grizzlies. Some will object to this choice. Ja Morant himself might, given that he has thrown his MIP support behind teammate Desmond Bane, a deserving contender in his own right and one who would be the appropriate pick on practically any other squad. Morant, on the other hand, was up to something extraordinary in Memphis before a sprained knee got the best of him. He appeared to be making the most difficult leap in sports, the transition from excellent to great, which began in last season's playoffs. Since the previous season, when he received All-Star consideration, though he was not selected, he has improved his scoring, field goal shooting, three-point shooting, free throw shooting, rebounds, steals, and blocks in the same amount of minutes. He has never had a greater assist percentage or a lower turnover rate as he does now. His PER skyrocketed from just above ordinary to outstanding. He could still improve his defense, and hopefully he would be spurred to do so after watching his teammates dominate that end without him. However, his offensive end alone has him knocking on the door of basketball's elite club. Up next, we have Tyler Herro of the Miami Heat. Last season, the MIP was thought to be Tyler Herro's to lose based off of his bubble breakout. He may just link up the hardware a year later than planned. His statistics are practically rising across the board with notable increases in scoring, three-point shooting, and pull-ups. He went from bringing this offense down by 3.7 points per 100 possessions to pushing it up by 4.1 points per 100 possessions. Last season, the Heat had no idea what to expect from him. They are now banking on him to play a key part in this attack every night. Up next, we have Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. The moment Anthony Edwards was declared as the top choice in the 2020 draft, he became the Timberwolves' future. The future, it appears, is now. In his second season, Edwards is going to do a little bit of everything, including referring to two-time All-Star Karl-Anthony Towns as a 20-year-old NBA sophomore. That's a risky move, but it demonstrates Edwards' versatility and self-assurance. And why wouldn't he be so sure of himself? He's one of only 8 players in the league that averages 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 3-pointers a game. Everyone else in that group is well known. Based on his current trajectory, his player efficiency rating was not even league average last season. Edwards might reach that level sooner rather than later. Up next, we have Tyrese Maxey of the Philadelphia 76ers. Tyrese Maxey wasn't always a starter as a rookie. He saw more of Philadelphia's postseason run than he played, surpassing 24 minutes only twice in 12 games and playing for less than 7 minutes 5 times. This isn't breaking news, but it's worth mentioning again to emphasize how freaking terrific his sophomore season is going. It's as if some basketball deity clapped his fingers and Maxey went from a generally unreliable scoring guard to a dependable floor general who can handle one of the most demanding workloads. He's more than doubled his points, rebounds, and minutes averaging from previous season, while he's also raising his three-point shooting percentage by 6%. Given how long it has been since Ben Simmons requested a trade, the Sixers should theoretically be looking for the best option and closing the door on it as quickly as possible. Maxey's enormous jump offers Philly more wiggle room to be patient and keep looking for the anticipated return. Up next, we have Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. Collectively, the Suns appear to climb indefinitely, but individual advancements are more difficult to locate amid the progress. Almost every relevant contributor has already broken out, so it's difficult to choose someone to highlight. Mikal Bridges is a possibility, although last season he averaged slightly more points on slightly better shooting. DeAndre Ayton's scoring and rebounding has increased, while his shot blocking and shooting have decreased. There isn't a fanatic answer, as many of you are scratching your heads about this selection of Devin Booker, a two-time All-Star who has averaged his fewest points in 5 seasons. Obviously, this isn't an all-around improvement, but there are a few noteworthy developments. For starters, his three-ball is maturing into the dangerous weapon that his shooting form predicted it would be all along. His turnovers are also decreasing and are now way lower than they were when he was a rookie without his full-time starting job. But maybe, most importantly, Booker is entering assassin territory in the clutch. He had 30 points in 27 critical minutes, a 73.3 field goal percentage, a 60% splash rate from distance, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, and 0 turnovers. Up next, we have OG Anunoby with the Toronto Raptors. If you've been following the process of OG Anunoby living up to the Kawhi Leonard comparisons, you'll understand the significance of this 5th-year jump. If you haven't heard, Leonard first became a 20-point scorer and NBA All-Star in year number 5. Anunoby appeared to be on his way to matching that surge when he was interrupted by a hit pointer. Last season, he averaged 15.9 points per game, breaking his previous high by more than 5 points. This year, he increased his usage to 20.1, and while the increased usage impacted his shooting rates, it had the opposite effect on his turnover percentage, which decreased to a personal best 8.1. Maybe it wasn't exactly Kawhi's 2.0 levels of two-way dominance, but Anunoby's ability to keep this comparison alive in this crucial season is a tribute to his 5th-year development. Up next, we have Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz. Who says a 29-year-old, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year and 2-time All-Star can't be taught new tricks? Rudy Gobert has been rubbing shoulders with basketball's finest for quite some time, but he has never felt more at ease in their company. He has magnified all of the qualities that make him exceptional. He's had more comebacks, improved shooting, and enhanced analytics. "I just do my job every night," Gobert recently stated. "I'm just going to keep going, keep playing for my team, and keep getting wins." The hegemony is recognizable, but it's cleaner and more forceful than ever. Up next, we have Deni Avdija of the Washington Wizards. Deni Avdija's counting categories will not impress you. It's conceivable they'll never do. Scouts weren't impressed with his ability to dominate the box score when it came as the 9th overall choice in 2020. His attractiveness was based on traits like two-way versatility, competitive desire, and polish, and all of those traits are now showing up as part of his sophomore leap. Individually, the development appears to be slight. There aren't any significant changes on his stat sheet except for the increases in PER and win shares per 48 minutes. Taken as a whole, it's like a series of small steps leading to a giant leap, especially since Avdija's biggest strength, defense, is the most difficult to quantify in figures. With more depth on the wings, Washington has taken its time with its sophomore, giving him fewer minutes than last year. The Wizards should reconsider, as Avdija has the biggest net differential of their whole rotation. Up next, we have Obi Toppin of the New York Knicks. Obi Toppin was supposed to be a fast learner. That's why, despite turning 22 months earlier, he was selected 8th overall in the 2020 selection. It's also why Toppin's failure to make an impact as a freshman raised caution flags. Although with minutes leader Julius Randle in his way, it's debatable how much of a chance Toppin really got. His workload is still not ideal, just 15.9 minutes per night, but he is getting enough floor time to show significant improvement from last season. He was averaging 13.3 points per 36 minutes on 49.8% shooting at the time. He's now up to 19.7 on 53, and his rebounds, assists, blocks, and free throws are all up as well. He virtually doubled his PER and turned his BPM from red to green. It's clear he's making progress, even if his limited playing time doesn't allow him to show it. Well guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Tip Top Sports, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.